This is Boxes and Briefs, a podcast with real-life business stories. But we will be asking the hard questions and challenging traditions. So broaden your thinking with fresh perspectives and solve problems for business success. Hello and welcome to another episode of Boxes and Briefs. My name's Lisa.
I'm Lucy.
And today we have with us Helane Mead from NZ Business Brokers. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
A little nervous.
I know you've got awesome gold nuggets for us. So Helane has worked and managed in some of New Zealand's premier restaurants and brought her wealth of industry experience into her role now as a business broker. So I guess first we want to talk to you about what you used to do.
Yep.
Then why you made the decision to change.
Yeah.
And what you do now.
Okay.
So what was your business?
Il Forno in Ponsonby in McKelvey Street was a wholesale cafe bakery.
Ah, that's a famous one, isn't it?
We like to think so.
Yeah. How long were you doing that for?
20 years.
20 years.
Wow.
Of what time do you get up in the morning for a bakery?
It was a 24/7 operation.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of hard work. So how did you tell us the story of how it started?
So I was pregnant with our first child, and we thought about opening a restaurant, but we didn't want to work all the hours of the day and the night. So we thought a bakery would
That's already backfired.
A bakery would be a good idea because we could just get up early, do a bit of baking, and be home in the evening for the kids.
Right.
But we started a little bit of wholesale. People would ask us if they could supply their cafe or whatever, and that grew exponentially.
Okay.
To fit it all into the same place, we had to operate 24 hours because we would bake through the night. Other cafes and restaurants want their product as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
As late as possible. So 6 o'clock in the morning, they would want it on their doorstep. So we'd bake during the night.
So how many people did you start with then?
I guess 2 or 3 originally. We were just doing it as just for a couple of friends.
Yeah.
And it grew to over 100 customers before when we left.
Wow. How many staff?
23.
Oh, that's a lot. How did you fund it? Was it your own money going into it, or?
Originally we had a 50-50 partnership with somebody, and at about 18 months into the journey, they decided that they'd go and start a vineyard up in Waiheke, because it's far more exciting than a bakery in Ponsonby, and probably a lot less work. So we bought them out then and owned it fully from then.
And it was it a mortgage, a business loan?
No. It was an inheritance, actually.
Oh, okay, okay. So you set it up, you started it, you ran it for 20 years. What was the difference between when you started with 2-3 people and finishing it with 20 staff? Did you double, triple, quadruple your investment?
I guess you'd say we quadrupled our investment, and the journey along the way, when you start out in something like this, you don't know what you don't know.
True.
And when you start out, we were chefs, and that's what we started with, that knowledge.
Yes.
But the business side of it, the staff management, the staff compliance, the tax and tax compliance, and as over 20 years, you could imagine the different, contracts came in. We didn't have contracts prior to, and then minimum wages rose, and exponentially, from when we started, I think it was about $9 an hour up to, when we left, $22 an hour.
Yeah, yeah. So then the advice you would have for anybody starting a similar journey?
Look, we learnt so much, and we made the amazing friends and people along the way.
Yeah.
And New Zealand business owners are very good at getting stuck in and doing it. So that's what we do best, and that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. Why did you stop?
I'm too old.
No.
It's hard work. It's hard physical work. It's a very physical job, and it was time to try something else.
So what led you into the direction of the something else that you now do with the business broking?
Well, through the sale of the business, I met an amazing lady, Glorianne, who'd been in the industry for a long time. Mm-hmm. From her story and her belief, I guess, in the fact that it's something I could do, I just decided to give it a go. Why not?
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
So can I ask how old you were at that time of life?
No, you cannot ask that.
Okay. Because it's a pivot for anybody who's run their own business to then decide to change. It's almost complete change of industry.
There's a lot of transferable skills.
Yes. I can see that with owning a business and then buying a business. Yep. You know how the client feels because you were the client at one point. Mm.
But not only do you know what the client feels, you understand their reasons for wanting to sell, whether it's because they've built a business that's now so successful they want to realise the capital gain and enjoy that, or you have the other side, which is unfortunately somebody who had a dream of what they wanted their business to be and do, and it hasn't quite worked out as they wanted, and they need to get out.
Well, for you, when you had your 20-year business, what was the scariest part?
Staff, always staff.
Because they are unknown?
Staff are your biggest asset.
Yeah.
And we were very lucky to have staff that had been with us for over a dozen years, quite a core group of staff, actually. So you always get the ones around the edge that would come and go, whether they started as a high school student, worked through university, and then went on to their own journey. Yeah. But we had a really great core staff.
Why do you think they were so great? Just because they stayed?
Well, you build relationships with these people. They become your work family, right? Yeah. You spend a lot of time with them. Yeah. And it is a family. And so that, that culture that you build, obviously is a pleasant one if they want to stay for that period of time, right?
Okay. So pat on the back to you guys for creating that culture.
But it's pros and cons. Because
explain.
You're emotionally invested, right? Because they're not your friends, but they're not just workmates either. So the relationships, you know what it's like when you have family. There's some good ones and some bad ones, and there's some good times and some bad times. Yes. When you're the employer, you have to be always the employer, no matter what. You can be as nice as you like, but you're always the employer. Yeah. You're not their friend. You're not their mother, you're their employer.
Yep. Good lesson. Okay.
And you fall hard when it, when that breaks or whatever, and it can do.
Yeah. Pick yourself up and find a new person. Okay. Was there a particular moment when you realised that your business was successful, that you had made it?
When we first started, we had big tables in Il Forno, and people would come and share the table. And about 10 years in, we'd had sort of people would always arrive at the same time. We're creatures of habit. So Tom, Dick and Harry would always turn up about 8 o'clock for their cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. Over a period of time, Tom, Dick and Harry got to know each other. Mm-hmm. And we had a group of people that would come every Tuesday at the same time to have breakfast together that had not known each other prior to being at Il Forno.
It's lovely.
And would go out for dinner or made great friends. So when you got to see, every Tuesday, you got to see them all come in and their relationships were building and whatever. That was quite a good moment.
That's an angle I've never heard before.
Yeah.
We've asked that question of a few business people. I quite like that one.
Boxes and Briefs is proudly brought to you by Gilligan Shepherd, the problem solvers in business.
All right, Helane, let's talk about business broking. For anybody who is a business owner out there or looking to become a business owner by buying a business, let's talk about the buyer first. What market conditions are better for the buyer? When should they buy?
It's not about when, it's more about what. Oh. Because like real estate, when do you buy? It's more about what you buy. Buy something that you know the industry of or are passionate about or understand. There is no point buying something you don't understand. Like, for example, a mortgage broker buying a cafe. Because everybody wants a cafe.
Because I have heard of a print print place owner
Yep.
buying a plumbing business, and it's worked.
Good.
So maybe there are exceptions to the rule?
There's always exceptions to the rule.
Okay.
But if you buy something you don't understand, it's a double whammy that you have to learn the business and keep it running and watch out for the pitfalls. And when you go to do due diligence in that business, you don't know what to ask.
Right.
Because you don't really understand it. It'd be nice, there's many an example where people think they'll buy, particularly cafes and restaurants, I guess, because their friends will support them and they'll come and whatever, and their friends will come and support them for that first couple of wines that are free on the house. But
but
then you're on your own.
Stuff. Yeah. So it's not like like you compared with real estate. There's particular markets that when it's a buyer's market and when it's a seller's market, there's no real telltale signs.
I guess if you're going to sell your business, you want to sell it on the high.
Yes.
Right. But when you get to that high, you're so busy enjoying that, you've worked so hard for it,
True.
You're getting that money, it's finally paying off, right?
Yes.
And can you sustain that high for a period of time so that it's still high when you want to sell?
Yes.
Or you get tired and it starts to just drop off
because you stop putting into it.
Yep.
Right.
And then you go to sell it when it's not actually at that high anymore. That's the best time to sell.
Okay.
Well, you're going to get more money for your return, right?
Yeah. What are the common reasons people choose to sell? Is it because they're tired?
Retirement, illness, want to try something different. They've done that, been there, have a go at something
And
else.
the people who are buying, what are the usual reasons? Same?
Not
Well, can't be the
necessarily.
same.
It might be people who have worked in the industry and want to take your plumber, for example. You've been an apprentice for a period of time. You've worked in the industry for a couple of years. You see that the boss is making really good money and you decide that actually I'm going to go and buy out a little business and grow that.
I've heard you talk about this before, about buying a business to buy yourself a job.
You can do that too, and particularly at the moment, there's a lot of uncertainty out there for their jobs. So why not take on, not necessarily leaving that job, but there's other people that will take on a business that they can fit around their job and then grow, hopefully to the point that they can then leave their job.
Like a side hustle.
Yeah, like a side hustle.
Okay.
There's not necessarily all big businesses. They're not necessarily all multi-million dollar businesses.
All right, so top 3 tips for buying or selling a business. Let's do buying first.
If you're buying a business, engage the professionals early. Engage the accountants and the lawyers. Don't be scared to spend the money on them.
Yeah.
They are going to protect you in the long run.
Okay.
Because accountants know what to look for in the books and the lawyers know the contracts. There's no point getting a contract, signing a contract, and then going to your lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. All right. Number 2. For
Number
buyers?
2, do your homework. Really look into the business, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Talk to other people in the industry. That might give you some insight into what you're buying, so therefore you know a bit more about what questions to ask.
It's a lot of work that you're talking about.
Your business is generally, if you own a house, it's going to be like your second biggest asset, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's something you spend a lot of time in because
You live there.
you do as a business owner. It's not just working 9 to 5. You've got to make sure the wages are done, the PAY is done, the tax man's paid for, or the accountant's looking after that for you. So,
Okay. And number 3 for buying?
number 3 for buying, also do your homework for what other businesses are selling in that industry.
Is that kind of like trying to find a common value?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now, if someone's selling a business,
If you're selling,
one day.
yeah.
Yes.
If you're selling a business, then make sure your business is ready for sale. So your accounts are up to date, your employee records are all taken care of, your systems are in place.
Okay.
The second thing I'd say is when you sell the business, you don't want to be the be-all and end-all of that business.
Replace yourself?
Because that's what the buyer is buying, right?
Yeah.
So they're buying, and if you are 100% of that business and all the intellectual property and what goes on is in your head,
Yep.
Right.
then they've got to work that out. They've bought the business, they've got to work that out because you've just walked out the door with all that in your...
Yeah.
Little things like your client, your client lists, your suppliers, they're all in place, ready to go for that person to then...
Yeah.
They're not still trying to ring.
That's another big chunk of the
Right.
elephant too, though, isn't it? That's a lot of work to
Yeah.
get that out of your head and into a
So
business.
when you want to sell your business, don't ring me on Monday because you want to sell it by Friday.
Got it.
Advanced planning.
Okay? You
Okay.
need to be thinking about it. Think of an exit plan. Think that you want to sell your business in 24 months or whatever it is. So what do I need to have
Yep.
ready in place? Your leases are in place, everything like that so that you're ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Is
So-
that the common time frame, 24 months?
No, you could
No.
do it. No, you could do it in a couple of months easily. But
Okay.
if you want to,
Ideally.
if you want to get the best possible price for your
Yeah.
business, and you have it in the best possible shape, you're going to get the most money for it, and ultimately that's what you want.
Okay.
Okay. So for sellers, we've got make sure it's ready for sale.
Yep.
Replace yourself. Have an exit plan.
Yep.
What's your third one?
Well, you want to make it look as attractive as possible, right?
Yeah.
So all your expenses that you have in your accounts that you might run through the business, make sure like the accountant has cleaned your accounts, they're all ready for sale as opposed to ready for running your business.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. What do you like now about what you do?
The people.
The people.
I love the stories. I love the stories of why they are doing what they're doing or how they got into it. Not necessarily do we all get into business because that was what we thought we would do. A lot of people fall into what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Helane, for your time.
No worries.
If our listeners want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
I'm on LinkedIn, so...
LinkedIn.
Yep.
Helane Mead. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boxes and Briefs is proudly brought to you by Gilligan Shepherd, the problem solvers in business.